What if I told you that the chaos around you, the criticism, the failure, the loss, the noise, none of it has to touch you? Not because you become cold, not because you stop feeling, but because you finally learn the ancient secret that the most powerful people in history already knew. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will never look at your own mind the same way again. Welcome back to Stoic Insight, where timeless philosophy meets the reality of modern life. 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor sat alone in his tent on the edge of war, not writing battle plans, but writing this: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Marcus Aurelius. That man was Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful human beings to ever live. He commanded legions. He governed millions. He faced plague, betrayal, the death of his children, and relentless war. And yet, by every historical account, he remained unshaken. How? The answer isn't a personality trait you're born with. It isn't privilege. It isn't luck. It is a philosophy, a set of practice principles called Stoicism. Today we are going to break down the 10 Stoic principles that, when truly internalized, make you untouchable. Not physically, but mentally and emotionally. These are principles that Roman emperors, Greek philosophers, enslaved men who became sages, and modern CEOs, athletes and soldiers have all relied on. Whether you're dealing with a toxic workplace, a failing relationship, financial anxiety, the weight of other people's opinions, or just the everyday storm of modern life, this video is for you. Let's begin. Principle number 1, the dichotomy of control. We begin with what many Stoic scholars call the single most important idea in all of Stoicism, and it comes from a man who started life as a slave. His name was Epictetus. Born into bondage in ancient Rome, his master once broke his leg, deliberately as an act of power. Epictetus reportedly looked up and said calmly, "You are going to break it." And when the bone snapped, he said, "Did I not tell you it would break?" That is not the response of someone who has given up. That is the response of someone who has mastered something profound. Epictetus later wrote in the Enchiridion, his handbook of life, these opening words: "Some things are in our control and others are not." Epictetus. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but let me show you why it is revolutionary. Think about the last time you were genuinely stressed. Really think about it. Was your stress coming from something you could directly control? Or was it coming from something outside of you? Someone else's opinion, the economy, the weather, what happened, what might happen? Here is the brutal truth. Most of what we suffer over, we cannot control. We cannot control traffic. We cannot control what our boss thinks of us. We cannot control whether people like us, leave us, or betray us. We cannot control the economy. We cannot control the past. What can we control? What you control. Your thoughts, your judgments, your intentions, your responses, your effort. The Stoics called this distinction the dichotomy of control, and they were ruthless about it. Every single morning, Epictetus's students were trained to ask, "Is this up to me?" If yes, engage fully. If no, release it. Not suppress it, not pretend it doesn't exist. Release the claim it has on your peace. Here's a practical exercise that will change your week if you actually do it. The 2-column exercise. Take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left, write, "In my control." On the right, "Not in my control." Now take your biggest source of stress right now and start sorting every element of it into those 2 columns. Watch what happens. Watch how the anxiety begins to lose its grip, because anxiety at its core is almost always about trying to control things that are not yours to control. Marcus Aurelius did this every single day. He called it separating the impression from the reaction. He lived it, and it made him, arguably, the most mentally resilient leader in recorded history. The first principle, know what is yours. Release what isn't. Principle number 2, amor fati, love your fate. Now, accepting what you can't control is one thing, but the Stoics took it further. Much further, they didn't just accept fate, they loved it. Amor fati, Latin for love of fate. This was the philosophical battle cry of the Stoics, and later of Friedrich Nietzsche, who wrote, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity." Let me be honest with you. When I first encountered this idea, I resisted it. Love the bad things that happened to me? Love the rejection? Love the loss? That sounds like defeat dressed up as wisdom. But then I thought about James Stockdale. Admiral James Stockdale was a U.S. Navy pilot shot down over Vietnam in 1965. He spent 7.5 years as a prisoner of war. He was tortured over 20 times. He had no rights, no release date, no certainty he would ever see his family again. He survived, not just physically, mentally. While others broke down, Stockdale remained the psychological anchor for his fellow prisoners. He organized resistance, he maintained dignity, he came home, wrote books, and became one of the most studied examples of human resilience in modern psychology. His secret? He later said he leaned heavily on the Stoic philosophy of Epictetus, which he had studied before his capture. Amor fati doesn't mean you pretend bad things are good, it means you use them. It means you stop fighting the fact that they happened and ask instead, what can this make me? The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every setback contains a direction. Every loss creates a space for something. Every failure teaches something that success never could. Think about the hardest thing that has ever happened to you. Now ask honestly, who did it make you? What did it force you to develop? What wisdom do you carry now that you wouldn't trade? Even though you would never choose to go through it again. That's amor fati working in reverse. You can see it already happened. The practice is learning to see it as it happens. The second principle, don't just accept your fate, mine it for gold. Principle number 3, memento mori, remember you will die. I want to ask you something uncomfortable. When did you last truly, viscerally remember that you are going to die? Not in an abstract way, not as a distant fact, but really feel it, that this life, these days, this version of you walking around on this earth, has a number on it, a number you don't know. The Stoics didn't find this terrifying. They found it liberating. Memento mori, remember that you will die, was not a message of despair. It was the most powerful anti-anxiety tool the ancient world ever produced. Here is the Stoic logic. Most of what we stress about, social embarrassment, the opinion of people we barely know, petty conflicts, the accumulation of stuff we don't need, the need to appear impressive, dissolves instantly when held against the reality of death. Seneca, the great Roman statesman and Stoic philosopher, wrote something that I want you to sit with. Let us prepare our minds as if we had come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. Seneca. Seneca himself was no stranger to mortality. He wrote prolifically about death, not from depression, but from a deep commitment to living fully. He was eventually forced to take his own life by Emperor Nero, and by all accounts, he met that moment with complete Stoic calm. Steve Jobs, not a Stoic by name, but a practitioner by instinct, told Stanford graduates in 2005, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life." Steve Jobs. Because when you remember you are going to die, the irrelevant suddenly becomes irrelevant. The grudge you've been holding, irrelevant. The fear of what people will think if you try and fail, irrelevant. The smallness you've been playing at, inexcusable. Here's the Stoic practice, the daily death meditation, not morbid, strategic. Each morning before you check your phone, spend 60 seconds acknowledging, this day is not guaranteed to repeat. How do I want to spend it? Each evening ask, did I live today in a way that, if it were my last, I would not be ashamed of? The third principle, use death as a lens. and watch how clearly you start to see. Principle number 4, the view from above. Have you ever been on a plane, looking down at the city below, and felt, just for a moment, completely calm? Like the traffic and the noise and the arguments and the deadlines all became tiny? The Stoics had a practice for this. They called it the view from above, hypsos in Greek, and Marcus Aurelius returned to it again and again in his meditations. He wrote, "How many a Chrysippus, how many a Socrates, how many an Epictetus have time already swallowed up?" He was reminding himself constantly of his own smallness, not to feel insignificant, but to feel free. Here is the exercise, exactly as Marcus practiced it. The cosmic zoom. Imagine yourself right now in your room. Now zoom out. See your building from above. Zoom out further. Your city, a patchwork of streets and rooftops. Further, your country, a shape on a continent. Further, the earth, a blue marble in darkness. Further still, the solar system, then the galaxy, then the vast, indifferent, breathtaking universe. And somewhere in all of that, almost invisible, is you. Worried about what someone said about you in a meeting? The view from above is not about nihilism. It is not about saying nothing matters. It is about right-sizing your problems. It is about perspective as a weapon against unnecessary suffering. Carl Sagan, the great astronomer, wrote something that reads like pure Stoic philosophy. He called Earth a pale blue dot and wrote, "On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, lived out their lives. Every king, every tyrant, every saint, every sinner, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam." The Stoics would have loved Carl Sagan. When you are consumed by a problem, and we all get consumed, zoom out. Physically look up at the sky. Take the long view. Ask, will this matter in 5 years, in 50, in 500? If the answer is no, handle it, but don't become it. The 4th principle, zoom out. Your problems are real, but they are not the whole story. Principle number 5, premeditatio malorum, negative visualization. Here is one that will feel counterintuitive, especially in a world obsessed with positive thinking. The Stoics practice premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. In plain language, they deliberately imagined what could go wrong. Before an important speech, before a business decision, before a journey, they would sit quietly and ask, what is the worst that could happen here? What could I lose? What could fail? And then they would either prepare for it or make peace with it. This is not pessimism. This is strategic resilience. Seneca wrote, "Let us think of all the things that can cause us harm and prepare for them." He literally advised people to occasionally practice poverty, to sleep on hard floors, eat simple food, wear rough clothes, not because these things were good, but so they could face them without terror if they ever came. Modern psychology caught up with the Stoics roughly 2,000 years later. What therapists now call negative visualization or stress inoculation training is almost identical to what Seneca was prescribing. Navy SEALs use a version of this. Surgeons use it. Elite athletes use it. Before competition, they visualize, in detail, things going wrong. A fall, a missed shot, an unexpected obstacle. So that when it happens, the brain doesn't go into shock, it goes into action. Here is how to use this today. Premeditatio malorum. Exercise, name something important to you right now. Ask, what is the worst realistic outcome? Ask, how would I handle it? Ask, could I survive it? Now, go do it without fear. Most of the time, when you actually walk through the worst case, you discover something remarkable. You could handle it. It would hurt. It would be hard, but you would survive. And that knowledge removes the fear's power over your decisions. The 5th principle, imagine the worst, not to despair, but to prepare and to free yourself to act. Principle number 6, virtue is the only true good. We live in a world that tells us happiness comes from having more money, more status, more followers, more comfort. The Stoics looked at this and said, "You have it backwards." For the Stoics, there was only one true good, one thing that could not be taken from you by circumstance, luck, other people, or time. They called it virtue, arete in Greek, and they defined it across 4 pillars. Wisdom, knowing what is truly good. Justice, acting rightly toward others. Courage, facing difficulty without flinching. Temperance, mastering your own impulses. Everything else, wealth, health, reputation, pleasure, the Stoics called preferred indifference. Nice to have, not worth your peace of mind to chase desperately or protect obsessively. This is radical, and I want to be honest. It's hard, because we are wired to want comfort. We are wired to care about status. But here is what makes this principle liberating. If virtue is your North Star, then nothing external can make you fail. You can lose your money and still be virtuous. You can lose your job and still be courageous. You can be disrespected and still be just. You can be in pain and still be wise. Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and founder of logotherapy, discovered this in the most brutal way imaginable. In the Nazi concentration camps, he observed that the people who survived, psychologically, if not always physically, were not the strongest or the luckiest. They were the ones who retained a sense of meaning and inner dignity that no guard, no deprivation, no horror could take. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." The Stoics said it first. The 6th principle, build your identity on who you are, not what you have, and you become unlosable. Principle number 7, sympatheia, the interconnectedness of all things. Here is a Stoic idea that most people never hear about, and it might be the most humanizing principle on this entire list. The Stoics believed in something they called sympatheia, the idea that everything in the universe is interconnected, that you, me, the stranger who annoyed you in traffic this morning, the person across the ocean you'll never meet. We are all nodes in the same living network. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What injures the hive injures the bee." He also wrote, and this one will stop you in your tracks, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own." Marcus Aurelius. Read that again. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, woke up every morning and reminded himself that the difficult people he would encounter were related to him in nature. Not enemies, not beneath him. Kin. This is the Stoic antidote to resentment, contempt, and the exhausting habit of dehumanizing people who frustrate us. When someone disappoints you, a friend, a colleague, a family member, the Stoic response is not rage or withdrawal. It is curiosity and compassion. What fear or wound is driving this behavior? How would I want to be seen if I were at my worst? This doesn't mean tolerating abuse. The Stoics were not pushovers. Marcus Aurelius literally commanded armies. But there is a difference between acting with boundaries and acting with contempt. The moment you truly internalize that the person who hurt you is also struggling, also mortal, also confused, a remarkable thing happens. Their power over your emotional state diminishes, not because you approve of what they did, but because you are no longer surprised by human imperfection. The 7th principle, see yourself in others, even the difficult ones, and you disarm resentment at its source. Principle number 8, the present moment is all you have. The Stoics were not the first, nor the last in order to teach the power of the present moment, but their approach was unique. It wasn't mystical, it was practical. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." He wasn't talking about ignoring the future or forgetting the past. He was talking about the specific discipline of not allowing your mind to live somewhere time cannot actually reach. Here is the anatomy of most human suffering. Anxiety equals living in a future that hasn't happened. Depression equals living in a past that can't be changed. Peace equals living in the present, which is the only place you actually are. Think about a moment when you were completely present, genuinely absorbed in what you were doing. A deep conversation, a physical challenge, a creative project, a moment of natural beauty, music that reached inside you. Were you anxious in that moment? Were you replaying past regrets? No, because the present moment is incompatible with that kind of suffering. When you are truly here, the mental noise goes quiet. The Stoic practice is to bring that quality of presence to ordinary moments, not just peak experiences, the commute, the meal, the conversation with someone you love but have stopped truly seeing. Seneca's most haunting line was this: "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Seneca. He estimated that the average person sleepwalks through most of their life, mentally elsewhere, half engaged, waiting for something. And then one day they look up and wonder where the time went. The Stoic remedy is radical presence. Not permanent, no one achieves that, but practiced, deliberately chosen, returned to again and again. The eighth principle, the present moment is the only place you are ever truly alive. Practice being there. Principle number 9, responding, not reacting. Between what happens to you and what you do about it, there is a space, a gap, and everything depends on what you do in that gap. Viktor Frankl wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." The Stoics built an entire discipline around this gap. They called it the faculty of judgment, hegemonikon, and they treated its training as the central task of philosophy. Here is the Stoic insight that separates a reactive life from an intentional one. You are not your first impulse. When someone insults you, your first impulse might be anger, shame, or the urge to strike back. That impulse is not you. It is a signal, information about what you value, what you fear, what wounds you're carrying. The Stoic does not suppress that impulse. They observe it, they create the gap, and then they choose a response that aligns with who they want to be. Marcus Aurelius practiced this so rigorously that he reportedly never made a significant decision in anger. Imagine that. The most powerful man in the world, with every reason to act impulsively, trained himself to pause, to breathe, to think, to choose. Cato the Younger, another great Stoic, was known to walk home slowly after a heated Senate debate, deliberately allowing his emotions to cool before he spoke or acted. He called it letting the fire die before you read by its light. The practical technique, the Stoic pause. Something triggers you, stop. Take one breath. Name what you're feeling. I notice I'm angry, /hurt, /afraid. Ask, who do I want to be in this moment? Choose accordingly. This sounds simple. It is not easy. It is a practice, which means you will fail, especially at first, and especially with the people and situations that trigger you most deeply. But every time you succeed, every time you choose instead of react, you strengthen a muscle that the Stoics considered the most important muscle a human being can develop. The 9th principle, create the gap. Live in the gap. Choose in the gap. That is where your freedom lives. Principle number 10, the inner citadel. We have arrived at the final principle, and in many ways, it is the sum of everything we've discussed. Marcus Aurelius had a concept he returned to constantly in his meditations. He called it the inner citadel, a fortress of the mind that, if properly built and maintained, cannot be taken by any external force. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And in another passage, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Marcus Aurelius. The inner citadel is not a place of numbness. It is not where you go to feel nothing. It is the headquarters of who you are, your values, your clarity, your commitments. A place inside you that can observe everything that happens without being ruled by it. Think of it as the eye of a hurricane. The storm rages around it, and right at the center there is stillness. The Stoic does not escape the hurricane. They build the eye within themselves. How do you build it? Every principle in this video is a brick. The inner citadel is built from knowing what you control, principle 1. Loving what happens, principle 2. Remembering you will die, principle 3. Keeping cosmic perspective, principle 4. Preparing for difficulty, principle 5. Acting from virtue, principle 6. Seeing yourself in others, principle 7. Living in the present, principle 8. Responding, not reacting, principle 9. Maintaining your inner citadel, principle 10. Marcus Aurelius built his citadel brick by brick. Every morning, in those private journals we now call the Meditations. He never intended those words for anyone else. They were maintenance, daily reinforcement of the fortress he was constantly building. And here is the breathtaking thing about this man. He believed, genuinely, deeply, that this inner work was the only work that truly mattered. Not the empire, not the victory, not the legacy. He wrote to himself, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The 10th principle, build your inner citadel, daily, deliberately, brick by brick, and the world loses its power to shake you. Let's bring it all home. Rapid fire. Recap. Principle 1, know what you control and release everything else. Principle 2, love your fate. Mine every obstacle for what it can make you. Principle 3, remember you will die, and let that truth clarify your choices. Principle 4, take the view from above, right-size your problems. Principle 5, premeditate the worst, and free yourself to act without fear. Principle 6, make virtue your only true good, and become unlosable. Principle 7, see yourself in others, and disarm resentment. Principle 8, practice the present, the only place you're truly alive. Principle 9, create the gap. Choose your response, don't just react. Principle 10, build your inner citadel, and nothing external can ever own you. Stoicism is not a philosophy of detachment. It is a philosophy of deep engagement with life, with others, with your own character, without being enslaved by any of it. It is the difference between being tossed by the waves and navigating them. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire and remained, by his own account, a student his entire life. Epictetus was enslaved and became one of the freest minds in history. Seneca faced wealth, exile, and death, and found wisdom in all three. These men were not superhuman. They were practitioners, and so can you be. Before you go, I want to ask you one question. Of these 10 principles, which one hit you the hardest? Which one, if you truly lived it starting tomorrow, would change your life the most? Drop it in the comments below. Seriously, write the principle and tell me why. I read every single comment on this channel, and I want to know where you are on this journey. And if this video gave you even one idea that was worth your time, hit that like button. It takes you 1 second, and it helps this channel reach the people who need it most. If you haven't subscribed yet, and you want more content like this, ancient wisdom, applied to the real chaos of modern life, hit subscribe and the bell. New videos drop every week on Stoic Insight. There are books linked in the description below. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, Epictetus' Enchiridion, Seneca's Letters. If this video moves something in you, those books will change your life. Thank you, genuinely, for spending nearly an hour with me today. That is a gift I don't take lightly. The Stoics had a parting phrase for one another. Not goodbye, not good luck. They said, sustine et abstine, endure and abstain. Endure what must be endured, release what must be released, and become, through that practice, unshakable.